Hello, everyone, and welcome to Super Switch Headz, the premier Nintendo podcast in all of the internet. My name is Matthew Stoner.
My name is Patrick Nisley.
My name is David Howe, and boy, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest returning once again to the podcast. The one and only Chris McKeever has joined us for today's episode.
Hello,
how's it going,
fellas?
Chris?
I'm doing all right. I'm excited to be here.
Very glad to hear it.
The people demanded it.
Yeah, we took a poll, and you are here. You are here for a reason, and that is because Nintendo recently announced their acquisition of Dynamo Pictures, thus starting the age of Nintendo Pictures, or I think that's the name, Nintendo Pictures.
Yeah.
And so we want to talk about what that means for Nintendo as they kind of move into film and or animation. And Chris, you are here to talk about it.
Great. I love film and animation.
The man for the job. Also in the news, there's a ton of news, more acquisition stuff. Unity is merging PlayStation Stars program, maybe some Metal Gear games coming out that got relisted. We got a release day for Bayonetta 3 and a secret surprise announcement of Kirby's Dream Buffet coming out this summer. Before we get started, how you guys doing?
Pretty good, yeah. Had a pretty wild weekend, to be honest.
How wild was it?
It was pretty wild. I went to a concert and I went to a party. It was just like leaving my house and hanging out with people en masse, which is still a little out there for me. Also, went to work today for the first time at the office since the pandemic. And that was a culture shock. And basically the whole 8 hours I was there, I was just like, what do I do? How do I talk to people? It was a little odd, but
did anybody tell anybody to be quieter?
No, I almost told the guy in my office though to be quiet though, because he had a very booming voice. Sorry for listening to this. But yeah, it was a good time altogether. What about y'all?
I am very sad because my favorite television program, Joe Pera Talks With You, he recently came out that said the show got canceled. And so he wrote this nice, sweet note. He's on tour right now, but I love that show very much. And so been spending a lot of time on the subreddit, just reminiscing on with other fans of the show.
You're all mourning right now.
Yeah, we're all mourning.
Yeah. Sorry to hear it.
Thank you.
He'll be back with an even better show on HBO this time.
Yeah, if it's anything like Nathan Fielder, who loses a show and gets an HBO show, let's hope Joe Pera gets that too. Besides that, I'm pretty good across the board.
Yep. What about you, Patrick?
It's been all right. It's been up and down for me. I think that I can't say it now, but I think there's a mobile game that I helped out with a little bit that maybe I can talk about soon. I got a little more work from them, and I think that release is imminent. And I have an update for you, David. You convinced me.
Very
I
good.
ordered the Steam Deck.
Yes.
Wow, you did it.
Your kid does not need food. Just get a Steam Deck.
You know what? I'm already in debt. No, I'm not, but not like hugely. But I went for it.
Yes.
I thought you kind of convinced me with the fact that every Steam Deck is actually a developer kit too.
Oh yeah.
And then I was that felt like the excuse I needed. And then I ran it by my wife, who I thought would be like, that sounds like a bad idea to spend a lot of money on that. And she was like, it's your thing. You do what you got to do. And I was like, all right.
Wow.
Relationship goals. No, but seriously.
I will do what I have.
I paraphrase. I don't think that's what she said, but
yeah, she was like, just do your fucking thing.
Do what you gotta do, Patrick.
Patrick, something you must know is that now that you officially are a game developer and formed your own business, literally every single video game related thing that you buy, you can write off on your taxes.
But I have to make money for that to matter, right?
That is a suggestion.
Money's fake, my guy. Money is entirely fake.
Yeah. Also, the IRS does not care about.
These guys
Video
are
game
not
people.
financial advisors.
Yeah.
Look, I've been an IRS agent for as long as I could walk. All right, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to get an audit.
No, it's not the audit. It's the like. I can't. Never mind. This isn't a
You
tax
can make
podcast.
more money than you spend just in in deductions. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't listen to me.
The money still
This
has to come
advice is
from somewhere.
questionable.
Is what I'm trying to say. But it doesn't matter. The point is, I think I'll figure it out. I'm not super worried about it. You convinced me, and I could always sell it if I had to, right? Like,
Of course, that's what Matt did.
Yeah. So if it doesn't feel like a good idea, but I'm excited about it. A few days, maybe I'll have it.
Very good. I'm excited for you.
Awesome.
What about you, Chris? How's your week?
I think I can sum up my week by explaining that yesterday I played 5 hours of Power Wash Simulator.
You played on Game Pass?
Yeah, hell yeah, I played it on.
Hell yeah. Okay, I saw.
I'm not going to buy that fucking game.
I almost put some hours into that. How was it? Well, we can talk about this later.
It's
but-
exactly how you think it is.
Fun?
It sounds like the Joe Parra talks with you of video games, if I'm honest.
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
good. I'll tell you, the soap does wonders.
Well, we'll get more into that in the games we've been playing, but I'm very excited that you spent 5 hours in that game. No podcast or just in-game audio, I imagine.
Yeah, well, I actually played it co-op. It plays up to 6. It plays up to 6 people.
You can play co-op in Power Wash Simulator?
Yeah,
Fuck this episode.
you can play 2 people career mode, but in special mode, where you clean the Mars rover, you can play up to 6.
Oh, man. Oh, no. Okay, let's stop spoiling the game. I don't want anything else.
Sorry.
This actually sounds like a great time.
Our last episode 168, was on Digimon, and we had a lot of great discussion about that episode in our Discord. So many folks came in to comment about that. A lot of love for our guest Donnie on that episode. And
Donnie's the best.
and good Digimon talk. So come check out the Discord if you're not already a member. And then over on YouTube, the Big JP said, "Great pod, guys. Look forward to listening to more." Thanks, the Big JP. We appreciate that. And if you're out there listening to this, we always like to hear from our listeners and viewers. If you have a comment about any of the Nintendo Pictures talk today or anything else we talk about, please come by and share your thoughts. And maybe you'll get a shout out too. And then we also appreciate it if people share the podcast, and remember to like and subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah. Shout out to the Digimon army for all the subs.
I hope that Big JP keeps commenting. Like, I want to know what makes this guy tick.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I want to get to know him through YouTube comments.
Through YouTube,
I want to get to know him in
comments.
general.
But we'll talk about news and rumors. And as Matthew said, there's a new Kirby game that got announced. So this is the first of a couple announcements that make you kind of scratch your head about why they didn't do a full direct. But Kirby's Dream Buffet, which is
3 of my favorite words.
was announced. They showed off a trailer. It is coming this summer to the eShop. Presumably it's just going to be a digital only game. I mean, maybe we'll see, but it looks like it might be a smaller game. It's kind of like a Fall Guys with dessert themed, sort of a, I guess it's up to 4 players online and local, sort of, mini game, right?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Fall Guys in that it looks like it's kind of a race. You know what I mean? But other than that, I don't see too much of a comparison there. I mean, it's got some 3D platforming, I suppose. This reminds me a lot more. I've been playing some of the Pac-Man arcade museum or whatever that's out right now, and this reminds me of a lot of like the Pac-Man spin-off games they would make in like the 90s. You know what I mean? Where you're just like a ball rolling around. I definitely get a lot of vibes of that from this thing.
I had a friend who made one of those.
A Pac-Man spin-off game?
Yeah, one of those Pac-Man spin-off games. I can't remember which one.
Damn,
But
pack and roll.
Yeah, he's a game designer, and he used to be a former Imagineer.
Oh,
Wow,
very good.
cool.
Very good.
Shout out Scott Rogers.
Yeah, there you go. Scott Rogers, what Pac-Man game did you make? Leave it in the comments.
Yeah, throw it in the comments, Scott.
But yeah, this looks cool. I mean, what do you guys think about this? Does you think this is going to be an NSO pack-in game? It kind of seems like that, right?
I don't know. The fact that they didn't say that, but they also didn't announce price, so I guess that could go either way. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like they've ever led with an announcement that doesn't mention something's part of the NSO.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But no, I mean, not that past predicts the future at all, but I think that's the only way I'll play it.
Yeah. I didn't play Kirby Fighters. I didn't play any of the weird experimental Kirby games. I don't know if I'm going to dip on this one. But.
They had me at the words Dream Buffet. I'll put $10.99 down for any buffet.
Yeah, I do think you're right, though, Patrick, in that, like, clearly some direct was gutted and released piecemeal over Twitter drops, right?
Yeah, because the next news is another thing that would have made sense, which is Bayonetta 3 got a new trailer and got a release date of October 28th. And like a pretty long trailer video, or it felt like it, a substantial a look at the gameplay and such. And that, and along with some other kind of related news that they're going to release Bayonetta 1 again, but this time physical. At least here in the States, when you got a physical copy of the pack, it was like Bayonetta 2 was on cartridge, but 1 was just a download code. So now they're going to release Bayonetta 1 physically on September 30th. Again, something they could have shown off in a direct, a little thing that makes you wonder. But I guess maybe they've decided that having this news cycle constant is better for them right now. Or who knows what they've decided. But
I think it more has to do with they probably have had a lot of delays on a lot of games internally, and they were like, oh, E3's not happening? Cool. We have zero reason to crunch to get something ready to prepare for E3 and like to get these trailers out or whatever. So they're like, you know what? Now we can just kind of release whatever we have. You know, we got that partner direct out. We don't really need it, but
it is 100% clear now that partner directs are just contractual obligations for games to be shown in a direct.
Yeah, they're just directs with all the first party stuff stripped out. Yeah.
This is supremely unhype.
Yeah, but Bayonetta 3 is hype. I think Bayonetta 3 looks great, right? I think like this is a way better looking trailer than the previous one. We get a lot more of kind of an idea of the plot. They've even got some like kind of hints as to there might be multiple Bayonettas in here, which actually a lot of people were already speculating on, which is kind of cool. Some cool new designs. Long hair is out, short hair is in, boys. And this is, I think it's looking pretty fun. It's also got that like anti-horny mode that you can turn on. Did you guys see that?
I didn't. What do they tone down
but basically there's a toggle that you can do where like any time that like Bayonetta gets like mostly nude during a transformation or like wears some really super revealing clothing, it'll change it to she's more modestly clothed, basically. So it's like, I think the majority of people playing this are totally into seeing Bayonetta's butt cheeks, you know, but like, you know, for people who are like, don't want their mom to walk in on them during an awkward part of the game or something like that, they've added this mode basically. And they shared it on the Japanese Twitter channel.
You had me at Dream Buffet.
Wait, hold on. If they had you at Dream Buffet, it's a 3-word title, and it's the second and third word.
Yeah, and they were like Kirby, so I was like, keep talking.
Got him.
Anyway, anybody here play any of the Bayonetta games? Anybody else excited for this?
I haven't, but this trailer looks dope. I think like being interested in Platinum games feels like it's a new interest to me over the the last 4 or 5 years. Ever since mostly we had this podcast and we played what's the other Nintendo Astral Chain. I really loved Astral Chain, which made me play more Platinum games. Bayonetta 3. I'm looking forward to play in October.
I haven't seen the trailer. Are there butt cheeks in it?
Yes. Yeah.
I'll watch the trailer.
You see some cheeks. Yeah. The crack is covered, but you see cheeks.
Look, listen, beggars can't be choosers.
Moving on. Nintendo of Japan, which is NCL technically. It's been spotted that in, I guess it was in some sort of internal memorandums or something like that they put out some sort of corporate social responsibility initiative thing, and some people spotted that back in March of 2021, the company instituted a policy where same-sex partners are treated just like married opposite sex partners, which is great, because in Japan there is not the same level of protection for for same-sex partners as there is.
Yeah, there's no gay marriage at all in Japan.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think helped that movement here was stuff like companies doing this here. Like, I guess Disney was a big one, right?
Mhm.
And maybe there were some other big ones. So I'm glad to see Nintendo doing that. And it's quietly, I guess they've been doing that for a year and a half almost.
Mhm.
Do you think it's quiet because they don't want a lot of fanfare about it? Or do you think it's quiet because it's like would be frowned upon in their culture?
It's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might just be quiet because we didn't notice outside of Japan. You know what I mean? It like wasn't like, I think that it just maybe wasn't something that like the West picked up on what was happening. You know what I mean? Because we knew about this months ago, but it's only just now making the rounds.
Yeah.
Like in the news and stuff like that. So I think it's just kind of one of those things. I think that it's, a lot of employees don't like go in Japan and like tweet about, stuff that they read in their company handbook and shit like that, So, but regardless, it is great. And I think,
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think you're right, Patrick, that industry can move governments if enough happens, right? So, yeah, I think it's a really good thing.
The proletariat shall take charge of the wheels of time.
And leading that charge is Mario with a hammer and sickle.
Mario's probably union, right?
Yeah, oh, dude, totally. He's in the plumbers union.
Yeah, gotta be.
Nintendo also put out a warning, given the current global heat waves that are happening everywhere, which is another topic of discussion unto itself. To be careful using your Switch in conditions warmer than 35 degrees Celsius. What is that, y'all?
I'm
90?
way too dumb to know that.
It's like in the 90s.
90 something.
Oh,
So
it's like most of the year here, dog.
Yeah, don't. I
95.
guess it's not necessarily going to destroy your Switch, but it might shut off. So they put out like this thing, and that's kind of made the news rounds too. And obviously we're all dealing with a lot of hot temperatures right now, with it being summer and being record breaking in many places.
So none of us are allowed to use our Switches right now.
Yeah, so we won't be able.
Only in the comfort of your own home, as a portable system is intended.
You won't be able to use the Switch in the climate apocalypse, basically.
Yeah.
It's good for another 2-3 years.
Yeah. We got a few good years left.
I mean, the thing that will kill your devices most is definitely heat, right? Like the thing that is known to like wreck batteries is heat. So just be careful out there if you're going to be playing your Switch, or don't leave it on like the dash of your car, which you shouldn't be doing anyway.
Then Tribute Games tweeted out that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, which was the beat 'em up game that came out at the end of June, I believe it was, sold 1 million copies in the first week.
Let's go.
So that's pretty good for that game, I think. I mean, who knows where it's at now? I don't know if it's continued to sell well or not, but that's pretty darn good for a launch, considering that it was also on Xbox, or is on Xbox Game Pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that means they're selling, not every game that is going to have that kind of success.
If I didn't detest beat 'em ups so much, sorry, Matt, I would have bought this game. I would have been so tempted to buy this game on Switch, right? Because it seems like, especially with the lack of crossplay, right?
Yeah, that might be
because I was like, damn, this would be really fun to play with all the Switch heads, but like, I just know I'm not going to play this game more than like once.
Right.
I've
but I did-
already beaten it twice.
Yeah, I did think that's the point, right? Is that it's like meant to be played over and over, but that'll never happen for me. Sorry, I'm so mean to this genre for some reason. But but yeah, that's great. Also, the Cuphead DLC in its first week also sold 1 million copies.
Dang.
So it's a good year for.
And that's on Game Pass too, right? No, not.
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Either way,
Shredder's Revenge is worth playing if only for the soundtrack.
I agree with
Such
that.
a banger.
The music is incredible.
I'm a big T Lopes fan. Yeah,
So 1 million copies does not include Game Pass.
yeah,
Right.
no, yeah, that's on its own.
Wild.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate the turtles.
Got the Unity news next. Unity is merged with Iron Source, and this has caused a lot of discussion and game developers who work in Unity to be upset. It's not the only piece of bad news related to Unity that's happened recently, and I think that is just kind of a tipping point of people being annoyed by Unity's decisions, business decisions. Iron Source, I don't know a whole lot about them. They're listed as like a business app company, like tools to help companies with monetization in the app space. So
my understanding, they're the equivalent of something like Salesforce, but for advertising and monetization in the video game industry.
I follow Game Maker's Toolkit, and we did like this analysis of like all the Unity acquisitions, and some of it is somewhat subjective, but this idea of like, if I'm making a game, is this acquisition help me or does it not? And a lot of them don't really help, like they've been kind of trying to arguably compete with Unreal by acquiring like Weta and other like other companies that may not really help you make better games.
Wait, so you said? I guess I missed that news. Unity acquired Weta.
Weta Digital.
Yeah,
Weta Digital, yeah,
like the visual effects company,
the VFX
Yep.
platform or
That's
whatever.
wild. Yeah.
That was a while back, actually.
like
November-
like the New
November.
Zealand based. Yeah,
November
yeah.
2021, 1.6 billion.
Man, crazy stuff. We maybe probably reported on that. I just forgot about that.
We
That's
might
insane.
have. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
we might have, but
Seems like the
it's-
kind of thing that would have caught your guys' eye.
Yeah.
I think we did because
Big
there
Lord
was
of the
a little-
Rings fans over here. Yeah.
There was a little bit of like this, like, these companies are Unreal and them are acquiring, things for film development, arguably, or there are things that might work in both spaces. But of note too, I guess, is that in June, Unity laid off a bunch of people, and in particular, that included their development team that was making a game. So one criticism of Unity that you'll hear from developers is that they don't make games, right? That they make a platform for making games, but they've never themselves made and put out a game using their platform,
Right.
which you think might help you make a better platform. Like, Epic makes games on Unreal, right? Like Fortnite or whatever. So they were going to do that. They had started a team to do that, and they fired them and canceled the project. And that happened in June. And so just talking about it now because of all this. And then the CEO of Unity also made some comments about in an interview with, I guess it's pocketgamer.biz, about like the quote that's getting thrown around is he called people who don't put monetization in their game fucking idiots.
This is a former EA guy, right?
That's correct. He was
Yeah,
with EA, and now he's the CEO of Unity. But I don't know. I kind of like, if you're interested in this, go read the interview, because I feel like the guy asks him a question about, like something to the effect of like, some people are critical of this, and he kind of goes off on this long tangent where he says fucking idiots and then talks about a bunch of random shit, and it's kind of like, did not make me feel good reading that interview. As somebody who's learning Unity and using it right now is like,
Yeah.
who is this guy? What is he talking about? Like,
After this acquisition, this merger, it's a merger, from my understanding.
Yes.
Now Unity is a ad company, a sales company first, who happens to make a game engine.
Yeah,
bummer.
it's hard to argue that. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, especially when you talk about what's going to immediately make them more money first and foremost, right? Yeah, I mean, if it makes, I mean, this is completely incidental, but one time I went to Red Lobster with the guy who was on the sales team for Unity, and he ordered oysters, and then he tried them, and then he sent them back. And we all thought that was the douchiest thing we'd ever seen.
Like for more oysters?
Like, you don't go to Red Lobster. First of all, you don't order oysters at Red Lobster. And then secondly, you don't expect them to be like fucking, like Gulf, it's been sitting in a Red Lobster in Austin, Texas for God knows how long. Like that's not, you don't send them. We were so embarrassed.
Does not look good on Unity. I'll tell you that.
I think so too.
I'll tell you that.
And I've been holding this in for too long, and I think it's finally time for
Finally,
the
David,
lobsters to come home to roost.
I'm gonna check out the Unreal Engine. I'm gonna check it out. I don't know.
Tell you
I have
what.
Unity on this computer. I think I'm gonna uninstall.
Yeah, nobody's ever sent the breadsticks back after working on Fortnite at fucking Olive Garden. Anyway,
yeah,
that's just this is a personal story.
I mean, this is weird. But like the timeline for this merger is interesting because Unity went public in 2020, and then over the last couple of years they acquired Weta Digital. They bought Parsec, which is all like netcode kind of virtual machine kind of stuff, and a bunch of other services. And so what this tells me is just like what other people are doing. The rest of the industry is you have a captive audience. So now you have your Unity people making games, and then you provide all these services to them so they don't need to leave the ecosystem of Unity to monetize your game, to make music, to do netcode. It's all built in. So you continually to collect money from your users through all of the value that you're giving to your game engine.
I think it's like also Unity feels like the engine that smaller developers use, right?
Yeah.
And indie
A little
developers,
less of a barrier to entry than Unreal Engine 4 or 5, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if you can't really make a 2D game in Unreal, as I understand it, right? Like, and so it's just kind of a strange marriage there to think that those are that audience is who wants some of those things. But I don't know. I don't have the numbers or know that kind of stuff. So
I'm not sure that's what merging capitals is about.
Oh no, it's not. You're right. It's yeah.
Can I sum this up by a quote from Maddie Thorson of Celeste developer?
Mm-hmm.
Man, fuck Unity.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Well, Patrick, once you put some of these aggressive monetization practices into your game based on the Unity platform, you'll be paying off that Steam Deck in no time.
I'll be rich. Yeah. Easily. That's the solution.
And Unity, if you want to sponsor Switch Headz, let's talk.
Yeah. I take back what I said about oysters.
We'll stop shitting on you as soon as you start paying up.
Oh boy. Sony PlayStation announced a new program called PlayStation Stars. And I have to admit, I don't know a ton about this. I just kind of skimmed this news. I thought it was interesting, though. But I think it's kind of similar to platinum points and gold points.
How do I become
Nintendo
a PlayStation
has?
Star?
It's a loyalty program that, like, when you buy things or in-game do things, right? Like you get points.
You get them from trophies. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you do platinum games, I think that you get certain rewards and that can include money to spend on more games. So I think that's cool. Right. Because like Steam has you get like a whole bunch of Steam points if you buy some games, but you can only redeem it for like in Steam items that don't fucking matter. Like it needs to, like Nintendo, I feel like was the one who beat everybody to this with their like, you just get money towards your next game if you buy anything in the eShop, So I just think it's high time that some of the other people have been doing this.
Yeah, one of the things is just playing a game, but one of them is being the first person to platinum a game in your time zone.
Yeah, so rush out and buy it day one. That's what they're trying to encourage.
Get these PlayStation Stars so you can get your digital collectible.
Yeah.
They
also put out a tweet really quickly being like, by the way, this is not NFTs.
Yeah, what they say
collectibles
digital
are not
collectibles.
NFTs. Yeah, we promise it's not NFTs. It's just a digital collectible.
Yeah.
So
And I'm the only one who has it. I'm the only one who owns it. It says so on the blockchain.
yeah. And you can sell it for real money.
Yeah. And it's decentralized. It's not connected to any system.
Good stuff. And then of interest, maybe to David, right? Is Konami has announced that they're going to be relisting these. Is it too late? The Metal Gear games. Too little, too late. Konami.
Yeah, well, it's they delisted all these Metal Gear Solid games from these digital storefronts, meaning that I had to go and borrow fucking my friend's old Xbox One and then borrow my other friend's old PS3 and their copies of these physical games in order to play them. But now that I've finished them, they're relisting them on digital storefronts.
I guess it was, I didn't realize this, but it was at least in part, I guess they said, because of licenses for all the like footage that's in the game.
Yeah.
Or
particularly the 2 and 3 like HD editions that also include Peace Walker. Those were removed because there's tons of archival footage in the games of like old military stuff, nukes going off, like fucking, production of, pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. It's got all this like archival footage and they lost the rights to it. Excuse me. And so I think that they probably got that footage originally for super cheap. And then now that the games have been a huge success, the rights holders are probably like, well, you're going to have to pay us a shit ton if you want it back. So, it's Metal Gear's 35th anniversary this year. It's been 35 years since the original game came out. And so as a part of that, now Konami put out a tweet being like, by the way, we're putting these games back up. Don't worry about it. I'm not really pissed off. I'm happy to have played them on original hardware. And I hope that this means that they're putting together some sort of new collection for modern hardware, including the Switch. It'd be great to see 1, 2, and 3 on the Switch. And then if they're able to port 4 somehow, like 4 has kind of lived and died on the PS3. So it's nice. It'd be nice to see that, come out in some kind of more modern platform as well.
Our last couple items here coming back to Nintendo. Pokemon Unite is having its 1-year anniversary. The free-to-play game. It's a MOBA game on the Switch and on mobile. And I guess there's going to be some... I think they've been having slow updates to this game over the course of the year, but this has been a big announcement where they're going to add some new characters and a new boss rush mode, I think. And all that kind of stuff. So if you've been into this game, that's cool for you. And if you've been into it and then forgot about it, maybe it's a good time to get back into it, right? I don't know if anybody here cares about this, but felt newsworthy. And then
congratulations, Pokemon enthusiasts.
Yeah. There's they're a dying breed.
Yeah. It's a failing IP.
The failing Pokemon New York Times.
As our last episode showed, Digimon is clearly taking over.
Yeah.
But the last bit of news we'll just talk about briefly, maybe, since we're going to really dig into it in the main topic. And that is that Nintendo has acquired Dynamo Pictures Inc., which is I don't know a whole lot about them, right? They're an animation or CG company that makes animation for games and maybe shows and stuff like that. We'll talk more about it, but
sure.
Yeah. I mean, this is big news though. I think, this is like stuff that you wouldn't think you'd see, right? Especially with how Nintendo has been so famously opposed to doing anything outside of games ever since the first live action Mario movie, which is a complete failure. Right. I enjoy it. It's Blade Runner for kids. But it's, not what they wanted to make. Right. It was a commercial and critical failure. Right. And so it's really cool seeing this happen, because you just never thought you'd see it. But I think a lot of it is being kind of hoisted upon them, right? Like Sony has Sony Pictures. I mean, they've always had Sony Pictures. Sony Pictures is separate, but they have PlayStation Pictures, right? PlayStation Films or whatever, right? And so, and they did the Uncharted movie, and they're working with, the Twisted Metal show that's coming out, and the Last of Us show. And so it's that being like a first party production studio is kind of pushed Nintendo into this position, which is kind of cool.
Do you think, and hear me out, that Nintendo is going to slowly buy up as many production companies as they can and dissolve them from the inside to make film no longer a genre, no longer a medium? And now there are only video games.
You can only play games.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Hear me out!
I think we're going to dig into that question more.
That's the whole topic we're talking about. Yeah.
I am 10 steps ahead of you, boy.
But we will take a short break, and when we come back, we will be talking all about this acquisition and what this means, and also what kind of projects we hope Nintendo does with their own film production company after this short break. So we are back, and this week we are talking about Nintendo acquiring Dynamo Pictures and renaming them to Nintendo Pictures Company Limited, NPCL, the newest aspect of Nintendo, which presumably is going to be making animated content. I guess we have a lot to talk about here, but there's a lot of there's the assumption that this is going to be stuff that isn't just for games, right? Is there evidence for that? I've been kind of wondering about that. Like, is it because Dynamo Pictures, it would be silly to just buy them to make cutscenes and trailers and stuff?
As far as what they say in their notification of acquisition, it says upon closing of the acquisition, they will change to Nintendo Pictures to focus on development of visual content utilizing Nintendo IP. So visual content could be movies, animation, commercials, small shorts, anything.
Yeah. I mean, it could be like what Kellum was talking about in the Sonic Origins episode with Powerhouse, where it's like, a lot of people just use the stuff for marketing purposes, right? It could be that.
Yeah. I mean, you think about every big like Smash character announcement, they make these CG trailers and things, right? Like that. Could this be a large part of it, or is that?
I think that thing that tips me off that this is more than that is that they're changing the name to Nintendo Pictures. That sounds like a movie studio, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like Paramount Pictures. It's not like Paramount
content farm
company. Yeah, content.
And they didn't just keep it as the company's name. And
right. Which they could have, like Next Level or something is still Next Level, even though they're a part of Nintendo, right?
So the one thing that I know about Dynamo Pictures from the discussion is that they made the Pikmin shorts from, I want to say it was Pikmin 2, around the time Pikmin 2 came out.
Mm-hmm.
They made these 3 little, animated shorts featuring the Pikmin, which I did not know that they were responsible for those, but I'm familiar with those. I've watched them several times. They're nice and true to the IP, but like different in some ways, and fun shorts for Pikmin fans. So once I learned that, I was like, okay, maybe, are we gonna see more things like that? Like more, promotional shorts that are their own thing too? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I think rumors about this started back when those shorts came out. I remember everybody talking about like, oh, Nintendo just made some Pikmin films, And I think some of those even actually had theatrical releases in Japan. They had them kind of like screened before other films and stuff like that. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, they also did all the cinematics from Metroid Other M, which say what you will about that game. The cinematics are gorgeous in that game, and they look really great. And that personally gets me excited for the potential of them doing more Metroid stuff, right?
Yeah, jumping the gun, but it feels like one of the IP that's ripe for a film or show or something is Metroid.
Mm-hmm. And it makes sense that Nintendo would rather have complete creative control over something like that, right? And like have it all be in-house than to, I mean, we'll get to like what this means for Illumination and the Mario project in a second, but it's like, it just makes sense to me that like for the riskier stuff, they would want to keep that, close to the chest within their own company.
Like Mario's not riskier.
I mean, Mario's just going to sell regardless. It's like one of
Yeah.
the most known intellectual properties in the world, right?
He's like the Pikachu of video games.
Good stuff.
That got me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe we should just talk about that because I feel like that's a big part of this, right? Like,
Yeah.
or, there's been some speculation that this is in response to the Illumination partnership not going well. I don't know. Do you think there's anything to that? Do you think there's any reason to believe that? The movie has been delayed. I feel like that would be the only argument for that. I've heard people say also that there hasn't been any promotional material for the movie, but that's not entirely true. They've mentioned it in the direct and they gave the casting call.
That is true. Then I don't think it's a wholesale replacement of Illumination. Like, because Chris Melisandre's son, love Chris very much. He's a great guy across the board. He's on the Nintendo board.
He could be a monster, man. I mean, we don't know him personally.
I mean,
Could send oysters back at Red Lobster.
He's got a great name, great first name.
Yeah, that's true.
He gets mentioned a lot when this movie comes up
because he's on the board.
Yeah, he is on the board of Nintendo. Right?
Yeah, and so if anything, I could see this being support for whatever they're doing, but not completely replacing all of their work.
I heard he's a big Pratt head.
Yeah, he is. He thinks he's very cool. But I think you're actually onto something there, Matt. And in that, like, I think the initial thought is to be like, oh my God, Nintendo must not be happy with what Illumination's doing, and they think they can do it better. But the other side of this could be that they have so much faith that this movie is going to be a huge success, and they are really happy with making animated films out of their IP that now they want to double down and have multiple projects in development, right? It's like, once this Mario movie pops off, what's next, right? Like, you can't have Illumination do every single movie. They only have so many teams and they've got their own. They've got to make Gru too, right? So it's like, I don't know if that's, I don't have any insider information on Rise of Gru 2, the fall of Gru. But I think that.
Hold on a second.
Are you a gentlemanian?
No, I'm not. I'm way too outside of Gen Z.
Wait, so
tell us
if
about that banana.
Gru rises and Gru falls, then he will rise again in 3 days.
Yeah. Oh God. No, but I mean, that's all I'm saying is I think that like, this feels to me more like they want to fast track more ideas and they don't want to have to rely on outside people because they have a lot of faith in this Mario project, right? I think it's worth talking about. It definitely could be the former rather than the latter. But to me, this is a good thing. It shows that like Nintendo is finally happy stepping out of the comfort zone that they found themselves in the Iwata years, right? Of just kind of focusing on their one lane, right? Yeah. So it seems like a good thing to me.
I mean, like the Dynamo Pictures, the scope of their work, like we are only talking about animation, but they also offer motion capture. So they have a series of motion capture stuff that they've done for, I think they're working on the latest Dragon Ball Super movie, Dragon Ball Superhero. But they've also done some like hologram kind of stuff for live shows as well. So all of their CG work translates into different mediums. Maybe that comes from motion capture, but they've worked in arcade and amusements.
So they probably did all the like the Splatoon motion capture hologram stuff for the Splatoon concerts that they do.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's head back to the mocap for just a second. What character should Andy Serkis play?
Yoshi. Yeah.
It's him. Well,
Dinosaurs together strong.
is that Yoshi's Island?
Yeah.
I was just wondering if the pushback against Chris Pratt could, if you we're looking for any evidence that maybe they don't like what Illumination's doing, would that be it? Or is that just like a loud part of the internet that Nintendo doesn't care about?
Oh, I don't think Nintendo gives a fuck. I don't think that I don't think Twitter being mad that Chris Pratt is Christian has any effect on box office or marketability of him. You know what I mean? Every movie that he's in still does. Even the fucking latest Jurassic Park movie, which was a total turd. I didn't see it. I just know in my heart it's a turd.
I saw it. You're right.
Yeah, it did well.
I read the headline.
Yeah. Like, it's like he's still a very bankable star. That's why he's going to be Mario. That's why he's going to be Garfield. That's why he's in all this shit, right? Like, so I don't think that Nintendo cares at all about that, right?
Yeah,
that's all I have to say. It sounded like I had more, but that's it. Yeah.
Just another Chris Pratt typecast as an Italian plumber.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is there anything else like in terms of what Nintendo Pictures is going to do? Like, do we really think they're going to make full movies? They haven't done that, right? I mean, you were listing these things that we know they've done.
Dragon Ball Superhero.
I guess that's a movie. Yeah.
That's coming out in theaters, right? I actually saw a trailer for that before.
Yeah, it's in Japan right now. It's coming to the States in I think the end of August 2022.
I will say I saw that trailer before I saw Thor: Love and Thunder in the theaters. They showed the trailer for Dragon Ball Superhero, and I was like, man, 3D anime does not look good on a movie theater screen.
I can't wait to see it. I saw it also before Thor, and I was like, I fucking love Dragon Ball. I can't wait to fucking see this movie. But fair.
I don't know. I'm not a big CG anime fan.
But a
lot. Not all their stuff is like that, obviously.
Yeah, they've done stuff for like Evangelion, Resident Evil, just a bunch of work.
So Nintendo, we know, made that old Mario movie, right? And then they're making this new one, and we know they had the old Mario show and the Legend of Zelda show, right? In the 80s or whatever, and then I guess they've done like F-Zero anime, right, in Japan. And has there been
they licensed it, right?
They licensed
it. Wasn't in house, but
we had Captain N.
She did a whole episode on.
But most of that's pretty old, and so like it seems like they're ready to really take their IP and put it into movies and shows based on this acquisition. We all like that's the feeling, right? Like,
totally. I really think so. I mean, I don't think it necessarily means the silver screen, right? But I think we're going to be seeing long form content from them, be it TV or movies or whatever. But I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that stuff coming up pretty soon.
So
not pretty soon. It's going to take a long time to develop, right? But yeah,
it begs the question, a two-part question of which sort of games and characters are best suited. And then which ones do you want to see, whether they're the best suited or not?
We're entering the pitch portion of this episode.
Are we ready to pitch?
I think so.
Before we pitch, hear me out. Now hear me out.
Oh my God.
What if they buy Dynamo Pictures, dissolve, redirect, start making playing cards again? They're bread and butter, baby. They're bread and butter.
I want to see a Hanafuda movie, is what I'm saying. I'd love to see a Hanafuda movie. Yeah. What do we want to see? What video games do you guys think would make good films or TV shows? Chris?
Yeah, I'll go. Buckle up. I have 6 pitches here. Each one lazier than the previous. So we're going to start with the most effective, and then slowly it's going to get worse. Okay. So first pitch, Toad to Perdition. It's 1931. Mario is a henchman of a Southern Illinois Irish-American crime boss named Bowser.
Yeah.
Having taken Mario under his wing as an orphan, Bowser's parental affection for him is greater than his son, Bowser Jr., who is a violent and dangerous man. Mario's eldest son, Toad, who is curious about his mysterious father, inadvertently witnesses a mob hit carried out by his father and Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. believes him to be a loose end. This puts Mario at odds with Bowser, who is forced to side with his son, making Mario an enemy of the Mushroom Kingdom organized crime syndicate.
If you're listening to the podcast, you owe it to yourself to go to the video version because Chris McKeever is reading, which means that he wrote this as a bit before he started recording.
I got a lot. You said,
it's beautiful.
You said, come up with some movie pitches. Pitch 2.
Okay, that was hold on. Toad to Perdition.
Toad to Perdition.
Okay.
So are these all going to be parodies of existing films?
Jess, go on the ride with me, Dave. Just go on the ride.
Strapped in.
Number 2, Mega Man Begins. A dark and gritty reboot of the Mega Man franchise.
Mega Man.
What's wrong with Mega Man? You don't like Mega
Oh,
Man?
he's just owned by Capcom is the main problem.
Right, they had to buy Capcom first. This is the future.
Okay,
This is
right.
the future.
I mean, if they can acquire Dynamo Pictures, they can acquire anybody. Yeah.
Especially Capcom. Come on. Anyway, his humble origins as an orphan who's afraid of megas. As he travels into the mountains to sharpen his skills with Karate Man, who eventually becomes the main villain of the story.
Oh, good.
All right, pitch 3. Yo Her. Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with a dinosaur-based operating system that throws eggs at him. He has a difficult time communicating with his love because it's mostly blep noises, but he sticks around to find out what that tongue do.
Okay, that was Yo Her.
Yo Her. Yeah.
Got it. Mhm.
Then we've got King Boo, which is just a version of King Lear where there are ghosts and they make high-pitched laughing noises. There's one Harry Metroid Sally. That one's pretty self-explanatory.
Oh my god.
And then finally, I suggest that we just give Funky Kong full creative control over whatever project he'd like.
Oh, is Funky Kong a real guy?
Funky Kong, like Donkey Kong's brother? Is he his brother?
Yeah. I don't know. I think they just went to college together.
Okay, well,
Brother from another mother.
Funky Kong gets full creative control over whatever project he'd like.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Yeah.
Those are my pitches. Which one's selling, baby? which one's breaking a million views?
Well, I think the Mega Man is probably going to be the hardest one to get.
That's fair.
I don't know. I would like to see what it'd be nice if, like, Funky Kong, you give him full creative control and he just makes like a really nice, quiet family drama.
Yeah,
Something like that.
It's like what's the god damn
Marriage Story.
Yeah, it's Marriage Story.
Let's see Funky Kong remake Point Break.
Yeah, it's definitely
Funky
That
Kong
would
was
actually work.
in the original Point Break.
Yeah.
Funky Kong was involved.
I don't think Patrick Swayze ever died. I think he just moved to the jungle. Those are great. I'm gonna have to go with Toad to Perdition on this one because it was the most fleshed out, and it seems like you have a real game plan for that one. But yeah, no, those are all excellent ideas. I mean, I would love to see shit like that, right? Like parodies of real life movies with Nintendo characters. I think would be super super fun, especially if they're owned by Capcom. Anybody else have any ideas for some movies?
I think mine are not jokes, but I now
Neither
feel.
are mine, Patrick.
Oh, sorry. Then mine are just not as good.
Okay,
is
very
what I
good.
would say. But I feel like just retell the Metroid story.
Yeah.
Of all the 2D Metroid games. I mean, if you want to throw in the Prime games, I don't know, like, but those are different. Man, I just think that they could do that and convert some people to be Metroid fans.
Yeah, I think
that though is the twist is not gonna get anybody.
Yeah, you're not going to surprise anyone.
well, that it's a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you have to lead with she's a girl. Yeah. But no, I think that's an excellent idea. My question, I guess, for you, Patrick, would be: do you think that would work better as a film,
show.
series, or a TV series where you can like
Oh,
dedicate a
Every room a
season
new
to
episode.
each?
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly.
Every room.
Yeah.
Season 1 finale, she turns into a ball.
On this week's episode of Metro.
Well, so Metroid's just like a bottle episode. Every episode is a bottle episode.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking like Mandalorian is kind of like that, right? Like at the end of like each episode, he gets a new upgrade or whatever, right? Or like multiple times throughout a season. I think like it'd be really easy to do that. But no, what I would like to see from a Metroid show or from any of these things is to dip into the lore that's outside of the games, right? Because we've talked about the Metroid canon before and the Metroid lore, and like there's all that backstory shit, right? Yeah, and like all the stuff from the manga and all the stuff about like her parents and like their relationship with Ridley before Ridley fucking murdered them. You know what I mean? And like all this kind of shit. So it's like I would like to see them dip into outside stuff to fill out the because Nintendo games are notoriously short on story to begin with, right?
Mhm.
Like I think that's kind of by design. So if they're going to be doing movies, I don't just want movies that are like storyless and just have a bunch of action, because I could just play the games for something like that, right?
I think this is not a specific pitch, and it's not super realistic, I don't think, but maybe more realistic than Toad to Perdition, maybe. Is that like
Swallow your pride, Chris.
is spin-offs, like you're talking about, like
Yeah.
telling stories in some of these worlds, or maybe they are featuring the main characters but are not anything that we've seen in a game or something like that.
Totally. Yeah,
I don't know if they're gonna do that, but
well, it depends on how successful the bigger ones are at the beginning, right?
Mhm.
Because you don't make Guardians of the Galaxy right off the bat. You've got a bunch of like successful Thor movies and Captain America and Iron Man movies, and then you're like, oh, okay, now we could start dipping into some of these like more obscure, like lesser known characters, right?
When do we get our Mr. Rossetti feature?
See, like that one is probably a while off, right?
I
Like,
mean, is it? Animal Crossing's huge.
yeah, but
right
starring
now.
Mr. Rossetti.
Oh well, specifically Mr.
Kids are
Rossetti.
terrified of Mr. Rossetti. Like, they're not going to make a fucking kids movie with Mr. Rossetti unless it's like an
Jordan
R-rated.
Peele. Jordan Peele. was
Yeah,
director.
an R-rated Jordan
Well,
Peele
and then-
Mr. Rossetti movie.
Another thing that maybe like the four of us aren't super excited for, but I think is more realistic, is kids shows.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think
Boo!
but like Animal Crossing is a kids show,
Yeah,
like makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense to
That
me,
would
where like
murder me.
Isabel and Tom Nook are having conversations and
Yeah, you introduce
story of the week.
a
you know
brand
what I
new
mean?
character who just moves into a new village, Animal Crossing, and each episode you make a new friend.
Yeah.
Who's
I think it'd
also
be
your
also
neighbor.
be really fun and really daring if they did it like a fucking reality TV show.
Vote off.
Like Real Housewives or something, and then they're like, and they have the cut to the camera, do it like The Office or one of these fake documentaries.
I can't wait
Like,
to
I
see
think-
sexy ass Animal Crossing characters. They're all fuckable.
Yeah.
I'm not here to make
Yeah, yeah.
friends.
Yeah,
I'm here to
exactly.
win.
I'm here to win. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have kind of like a broader thing, and it's kind of like what I feel like I've been dancing around it with some of this stuff, but I've always talked about how I want all the Nintendo cosmic franchises to connect, right? Like, I think I've always wanted that within the games. Like, I want a fucking big game where you can play, where Star Fox runs into fucking Samus on a mission or whatever, and then it's on the planet where they're having a giant F-Zero race, you know what I mean? And Kirby shows up. I don't know. You know what
Mario
I'm-
Galaxy's there.
yeah, exactly. but it's like I think now if they're doing this kind of shit, like that's how you do crossover stuff. I mean, obviously everybody wants a cinematic universe, right? And there have been lots of jokes about this with Detective Pikachu and Sonic movie and the Mario movie having post-credit scenes talking about the Smash Initiative, right? Like that's like definitely something that people have been talking about for a long time. But I think now they actually have an opportunity to do some real crossover shit here. You know what I mean? And like, especially if it's all being produced under the same studio, like what's happening with Marvel Studios, right? Like the reason they're able to do all this shit is because they have like one unified creator basically leading the ship on this, right? I don't know who that would be. I think Miyamoto wants to do it. I think Miyamoto's been wanting to do this for a long time. I think he loves being super hands-on in this Mario movie, right? So maybe we'll see that kind of like executive producer role of the person kind of like connecting a lot of these films together be Miyamoto. I think that would be really cool.
Or like it's a bunch of different cartoons, right? And then
Yeah.
like the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, they all get together for a Mario Kart race.
And it's won by the Harlem Globetrotters.
Exactly.
Or they all get together for a PSA to tell kids to stop smoking and drinking alcohol.
Yeah. You shouldn't be smoking alcohol to begin with. Doesn't matter
But-
what your age
That's
But
true,
real-
that.
is.
Real quickly to the other franchises I want to see are Pikmin and F-Zero. But like you pointed out, David, they're not going to lead with that. They're not going to lead with those franchises. I mean,
Yeah.
they've made these Pikmin shorts.
I have an idea.
Um,
A pitch. Punch Out.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good story, right? Like this kid coming up and
CG CG animated feature is Rocky.
Yeah.
Little
Mike
Mac.
Tyson cameo.
No, Mike Tyson's not involved. But you do have a lot of racial stereotypes.
Yeah,
involved.
that's true.
What's the problem there exactly?
Well, I mean, I also foresee this stuff, especially if there's shorts or TV shows or things, maybe being tie-ins for games. I don't know if y'all think that's likely or not, but I could see like a new Punch Out.
Well, do you think that
having an
they're
accompanying short TV show or something where they're maybe not as racially stereotyped characters in a modern game or whatever?
But do you think that's why we haven't seen a new Mario game since Odyssey? Is that they're holding it to ride the coattails of the Illumination film?
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
that
just
they need to.
spitballing here.
Yeah.
No, I don't know that they need to do that, but that's not that makes me excited that there might be a
Yeah, I
3D
mean,
Mario
I do
game.
just want a new Mario game. Yeah.
I mean, that's typically what Nintendo does. There's a huge marketing blitz for a brand new Mario game. There's, Legos, Levi's, brand new lunch pins, lunch bales, whatever they're called.
Lunch pails is definitely what they're
lunch-
called.
lunch-
Yeah.
Are the Levi's
pails.
overalls?
yeah, all those. And overalls because he's fucking a plumber.
Yeah.
I can see
Mario's
that
gonna
being
buy
happening.
Levi's and dissolve them, so there's no pants. Only
No more
video
pants. Only video games.
He's going to dissolve the overalls.
Yeah.
It's
What
gonna put 'em in
chemical?
acid.
Yeah, there we go.
Vat
Yeah,
of acid.
yeah.
I would
That's a
love.
movie right there. Mario killing the pants industry.
That is
Write it
not a
up.
movie. That's
it up,
not
pitch it.
a movie.
Pitch it. Pitch it to Dynamo.
I think you mean Nintendo Pictures Go Limited.
My bad.
But I think that would be great. I think Punch Out is a great idea because specifically they already have a bunch of really fleshed out characters already, right? Regardless of if they're like caricatures of different countries, right? Like they're very expressive. That was a next level game, right? Like that was when they were really starting to like show their own animation chops, right? So you can draw a lot from that. What were you saying before that, Patrick? You were saying F-Zero or Pikmin,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
like stuff that Dynamo has worked on already are obvious choices, right? And I think that Pikmin would make a great fucking show, right? It would make a great kids show, right? I think kids would love it. It's like the Rabbids of Nintendo, which are themselves the minions of video
Doesn't
games.
require a lot of translation, because
yeah.
they just go.
Exactly. So I think that would work really well. And I think you also had a pretty good point, though, about I don't think that they can get super obscure with it, but I do think that if they made a Metroid movie and it fucking slapped, the Metroid series would sell better, right?
Mhm.
Like I think that and that's a series we know Dynamo has worked on, right? And has done a lot of great animation for. It was probably big part of a reason why Nintendo wanted to buy them in the first place is because they did such an incredible job on that game. And that game deserved better, than the game that it was. You know what I mean? Like it had a lot going for it other than the fact that the game wasn't very fun.
Well, are there any other ideas from anybody?
Yeah, I got a couple. I mean, I don't have fully fleshed out pitches like we just heard from Chris McKeever, but I do think that Donkey Kong makes a ton of sense. We know we've got Seth Rogen playing Donkey Kong in the Mario movie. I don't know that Dynamo would do, or excuse me, Nintendo Pictures would do this. That might be just something they'd want to keep at Illumination, especially if it's a character that they establish in that film and is popular. There's a whole way you could go with the whole Donkey Kong thing, and I think that Nintendo wants to do that. If we've seen anything from their theme parks, they've got a whole Donkey Kong section, right? And it's like, we haven't seen a Donkey Kong Country game since 2014, right? But it's still, they're pushing it, right? So I think that is inevitable, whether or not it's going to be with Nintendo Pictures or if it's going to be another Illumination joint. But which we will be calling these now. It'll be a Miyamoto joint, like Spike Lee, whenever these come out. But no, yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. A Donkey Kong Country movie, or his own spin-off film from the Mario movie.
All right, hear me out. Bowser pornography.
I think you're on the wrong track.
Let him finish, please.
Let me finish.
That's what it's called.
To this Bowser pornography.
Yeah.
I'd hate to see it, but it makes a lot of sense to do Mario plus Rabbids if that series continues to be successful.
They should just cut the bullshit and do Mario plus Minions.
Yeah.
We've been talking
Yeah,
about it for years.
we just playing cat and mouse this whole time.
Yeah. Will they? Won't they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Already.
I remember the one I was going to say earlier. I think Luigi's Mansion makes way too much sense.
Oh,
It's basically its own contained story already.
It's spooky as hell.
It's spooky, but it's like fun. It's like not too scary for kids, but you could like really play it up. I think that would be an obvious spinoff of the Mario movie that's coming up, right?
So, Dyson product placement.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Auric for me. But I'm an Auric guy.
Mm.
That's what it's called, right?
Kirby. The answer's Kirby, guys.
Yeah. 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 I can't believe we haven't really said Kirby yet. I think
Kirby's had a few cartoons.
I meant the vacuum company.
Oh yeah, good point.
No, but yeah, Kirby makes a ton of sense. Yeah, you're right. There have been Kirby shows, right? Like 2D anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be really great. Kid Icarus had 2D animation as well. I don't know if it was a whole show, but there's, they did whole localized Kid Icarus anime. Do you think they would touch Fire Emblem?
Man, people would love that. Some people would, at least.
Could you convert Fire Emblem Heroes players into paying customers at the box office?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. That feels like that has to be live action, right?
Fire Emblem live action?
Anime makes a lot of sense.
But what if it was live action? Let's Dreamcast Fire Emblem Three Houses movie right now.
Claude is Chris Pratt.
Oh,
Chris Pratt is Claude.
We just lost Summer as a listener.
We should just talk Legend of Zelda.
Okay, Link is Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have to imagine that most of the stuff that they're going to be making is going to be CG animation, right? Because they're a CG 3D animation company, right?
Right.
And that's what they bought, and that's what they've converted, right? Would you guys want to see? I mean, that one feels like it would also work really, really well as a live action. Would you guys want to see a CG 3D animated Zelda movie or a TV show? Kind of almost doesn't feel like a great fit, right?
I think exactly the same tenets that we were talking about when we were discussing Metroid is like, let's take some of the lore that exists and let's spend some time in the richness of the universe. So if it's just about Link getting the Master Sword and then, saving the princess and defeating Ganon, I mean, that might be our first movie, but at some point, I hope we get to some of the richness of the lore in that universe.
Yeah, that's my fear. Is like I don't want to watch that movie because I've played that game 10 times and it's not a great story, right? I mean, they are, it's okay, but it's not. I've lived it, like
It's not a good story. Then how could I write an entire prequel series based on it?
How could you actually? Yeah, you tell us.
Because I was a very creative child. Okay, I had a wild imagination. So much so that I had to write fan fiction and not come up with my own stories. But anyway, no, I obviously that's a big one, right? But I think we also fall into a bit of the why did they not make a standard Pokemon movie and why did they go with Detective Pikachu, right? That's why I think like Luigi's Mansion makes a ton of sense, right? Of like it's an offshoot game already that's self-contained, that's like its own fucking thing. So maybe they make a Link's crossbow training movie. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. No, but either way, I mean, I think that's a no-brainer. It's going to happen at some point, right?
Yeah.
Disney Tsum Tsum Festival.
Chris McKeever. Disney is a separate company.
Not for long, baby.
Oh,
not after Nintendo buys them, dissolves
Nintendo
them.
Plus.
Dissolves them.
Watch all the Marvel and Star Wars shows on Nintendo Plus. That would actually be pretty cool because I'd like to know how they turned into sausages in the first place.
Yeah,
you know,
right?
like what made them so
That scene is probably
Oblong.
horrific. Like truly mind-bendingly horrific, like trauma-inducing.
yeah, I'm into it. Let's do it. It's a done deal. Let's talk to
I love it.
if Disney can buy Fox, Nintendo can buy Disney.
Yeah. Well, I've been waiting for that Mega Man Tsum Tsum this whole time.
No, you have not.
Wearing Levi's.
Wearing Levi's.
All right.
All right. I think. Is there anything else anybody wants to squeeze in before we?
Fucking Nintendogs. That's it. It's just they're
It
just
makes
dogs.
too much sense.
It's Homeward Bound, but they're Nintendogs.
I want to see if Nintendo does start making movies and releasing them in theaters. I want them to release like a 40-minute film and then keep the movie in theaters for 6 months and then add like 10 minutes of footage every like month or so, like a la the Mario sports titles. I think that is the shakeup that Hollywood has needed for a
We're
really
gonna get
long
the
time.
first cinematic DLC.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the movie, by the time like the full movie is out, nobody gives a fuck anymore. Nobody's seeing it.
All right. This has been fun. I think that's gonna do it for our discussion on the acquisition of what is now Nintendo Pictures Co. Limited and what kinds of Nintendo movies we want to see.
We
And
had
we're
a
gonna
nice
take
time, but now we're done.
Yeah. No more fun.
No more
bits.
fun. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the games we've been playing recently. Still playing a lot of Strikers, played some Smash, played some Pokemon Puzzle League, since that just joined NSO. And incidentally, I went to a like indie game meetup here in Austin, Games Y'all, which happens, and I played this game called Swapette Showdown, which is just very much Panel de Pon,
Great.
with some other mechanics as well. And I think I'm a really big Panel de Pon fan, and I didn't know it.
It's about fucking time, dude. Join us.
Yeah, I had no clue how much fun that would be. It clicked for me playing the demo of this game at this event. There were a bunch of other cool games at this event of like local Austin developers. A really fun one too was by a company called Gumboot, and the game is called Slumber Squad. And in Slumber Squad, you are playing kids who are at a slumber party who are playing a video game within the game, which you are also playing. And like the mom and the little brother and the cat keep coming in and distracting you from the video game and getting in front of the TV, and you have to get up and like talk to them and move them around.
That's great.
And stuff. And then you're trying to keep the game going. It's like an auto, it's not an auto runner, but like an auto scroll game. And so you can't let your character fall to the
blocked
left
for
of
too
the
long.
screen
Yeah,
Oh, that's fun.
while you're playing
No
this
pause button.
other
in this
game.
No pause button.
Yeah, I guess not, right? It's pre-pause button. But it's a cool concept. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's me, I think.
Yeah, you got to let me know when the next time the next Games Y'all is going on.
Oh,
I keep
yeah,
forgetting
sorry.
to go. No, it's all good. I was talking to Miles earlier as well, and he went, and I was like, "Damn!" Didn't it was somewhere? It wasn't at Museum of Human Achievement this time, right?
No, I don't know if they'll have it here again. I think because of the heat, they are doing this. It was at a place called Batch on the east side.
Right. I love Batch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Batch is cool.
I will go next. I beat Earthbound. 29 hours. Beat Earthbound for the very first time. I said this last week. I think it'd be wild to see like a different alternate me, Matthew Stoner, who played Earthbound instead of Chrono Trigger. Just the writing in this game is so fun. It's such a joyful game.
Would you then go on to join Nintendo Pictures and make an Earthbound film?
Yes, after
Yeah, what
acquiring
would be
and
different?
dissolving Capcom. Yeah, that's right. I would do that.
Is Earthbound also Capcom?
No, it's not. No,
I was
no.
like,
it's
they
Nintendo
gotta
Pictures.
buy Capcom.
Yeah,
I would think I might be, if I played Earthbound at a very young age, I might be more into some like creative writing. I mean, I do writing today, but it's mostly that's like technical writing. I think I might be more interested in some of the visual novel kind of writing.
Is that it? Is that how you play it this week?
Oh, I also played. I started to play the cloud version of Flight Simulator on Xbox. Bad idea. Looks like dog shit.
Oh yeah,
just not a good idea. Because I wanted to play it, but didn't want to wait for the 100 gigabyte download.
Yeah.
So I quit and then started playing Flight Simulator for the next day because I wanted to play with the new new Top Gun plane, and then the Pelican from Halo Infinite or Halo generally, to like fly around, and it's fun in the Top Gun one. You can go like Mach 10 and you go up into space.
Sounds very fast.
You got to go fast.
Yeah, very good.
David.
There's a Nintendo character that says that, right?
Yeah, he's blue and he's a plumber
by
and he's a
Capcom.
hog. Anyway, yeah, I've been playing a lot, man. I've been fucking around with some games, which is not a surprise. But what have I been doing? I installed the Super Mario PC port. That was actually a bit of a ordeal to get that going, but this version of it's called Super Mario 64 Plus, and it's built off the native PC port of Super Mario 64. You have to compile yourself, so I like compiled the game using a ROM and like this program, and it looked like somebody was hacking into my computer while I was doing it. It was really cool. But then it's basically Super Mario 64 at 60 frames per second with all these crazy, options you can do. Like I've got the butt slam dive you can do from Mario Odyssey that you can do in that game now. You can do like the infinite roll from Odyssey. All this crazy stuff that's added in. There's like better wall jumping and all this shit. And it's just amazing playing Mario 64 at 60 frames per second in widescreen in HD. It looks amazing. It plays amazing. I see no reason to ever play any version of this game other than this one ever again. And I got it running on my Steam Deck, which is really cool. So I love that. Played a little bit of Fall Guys, kind of still playing that. Speaking of Fall Guys, everybody gets a free skin now because everybody was accidentally making purchases, and they gave out a free skin to everybody. So
one free skin, or do I get to choose?
No, it's a tall guy. I don't know if that's what he's called, but it's a tall.
It's a tall Fall Guy.
It looks like a gooey duck.
Yeah. I'm playing more Sonic fan games. I'm playing this really great Sonic fan game called Sonic and the Fallen Star. Don't have too much to say about it. I just started playing it, but I'm just constantly amazed by the Sonic fan community to just put out entire video games that are of such incredibly high quality and play really, really well. And I'm just jealous of the Sonic fan community because like all the first party or all the fan games made off of first party Nintendo characters are always shut down right away. I'm just jealous of that. I beat Klonoa 1, Door to Phantomile from the Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series. I got to say, man, everybody should fucking play Klonoa. Everybody get Klonoa. Klonoa is such a classic game. It was totally underlooked at the time. It's never sold great, but now you have an opportunity. It's on every platform. It's fucking fantastic. And the game is like a cute, fun little kiddie platformer that's like 2.5D. But just takes a turn, man. Like that game, I imagine if I played this game and like beat it as a kid, like this would have fucked me up. Like it's like got this really, really crazy, insane ending. And it's like super melancholy by the end of it. I don't want to say any more. I don't want to spoil it for you. It's a super short game. I beat it in about 3.5 hours. So I'm excited to play Klonoa 2. But I really recommend picking up Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series. And then other than that, yeah, Panel de Pon, fucking Pokemon Puzzle League, played a lot of that with some Switch Headz over the past week. And then, but I do want to shout out that I did play the Live Alive demo and quite enjoyed it. I played through 2 of the chapters that were available in the demo, and I've just started the 3rd. And I'm really enjoying it quite a bit. Every story feels and plays totally different from all the other ones. So it seems for somebody that loves a lot of variety and likes a lot of different styles of gameplay, but with like a really beautiful, visually cohesive kind of center. I'm really into Live Alive, and I'll definitely be picking that game up as well. So I'm pumped about that. Just a big month for games, man. I think I'm buying 3 games this month between Live Alive, Klonoa, and Stray.
Stray's getting great reviews.
Yeah. That's another game. I mean, it's like I hear you can beat that game in like 5 hours. I think that's a pretty short experience, right? But probably pick that one up. Bless you. Probably pick that one up on Steam myself. But what about you, Chris? What have you been playing this past week?
So as described, I put a couple of hours into Power Wash Simulator because that's where my life is. It's exactly as advertised. You feel like you've done a good job.
Is it super satisfying then? Like if you...
Yeah, I mean, it's really satisfying when you clean something. All of the jobs are like a whole fucking house, but like it's broken up to like this window is done or this wall is done, and it makes a little ding, and ooh, does that little ding make the brain go whir?
Little affirmations.
Yeah. I also played a little bit of Escape Academy, which is pretty cute. Puzzles are pretty classic escape room puzzles. The visual novel is cute. The story's pretty convoluted. You're students at an escape room academy. It's like if Harry Potter were for losers with no powers, right? But it's fun. And then ever since it went free to play, I've just been absolutely poning noobs in Fall Guys.
We gotta play. We gotta play, Chris.
I'm ready, baby. I need a duos win. So if you want to play after this, let me know.
Yeah, I gotta make some dinner. But
love Fall Guys. I love Fall Guys. Who needs to eat when there's Fall Guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely getting pwned by people like you right now. So I don't know if you want me on your team.
I do want you on my team because I want you to get good.
Okay, I really appreciate that then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that does it, y'all. On that note, we're going to end our episode. Thank you, Chris. Thanks
you're welcome.
for coming and joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Really great pitches, Chris.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to work.
I think you won. I think you won the pitch contest.
Yeah. Well, yeah, by the way, this is a competition and you won.
I didn't know, and that was not my intention.
Thank you also to MilkyWay.co for doing our website. Thank you to Corduroy for doing our music. If you're looking for me, Patrick Online, I am PDYX.
I'm Matthew on Twitter, MATHYOU.
I'm pretty much ever on the internet at Monolith Fiji. And what about you, Chris? Where can people find you online?
I am Chaos. Please don't look for me.
Very good.
Is that all one word?
Is there underscores? Or
I believe I do own the... it's been a while, and I don't know if I have access to it, but I do think I have all lowercase, no spaces at gmail.com.
Oh, really? Very good. Very good. Also, you can find Chris on the Disney Tsum Tsum fan message boards, where he's a regular poster.
You can find me at the top of the charts for Disney Tsum Tsum professionals.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. So check him out there. If you'd like to find our show on social media, we are at Switch Headz on Twitter, at Super Switch Headz on Instagram and Facebook. We got a website, switchheads.com, and we got a Discord and a Facebook. Make sure you join both of those. Discord's always popping off. What a great place to be, especially since it's 130 degrees outside. Everybody's staying inside, hanging out on Discord. We're all having a good time. There's no shame. Anyway, that's going to do it, I think, for this episode, everybody. Thanks so much for listening in. Do you have ideas for movies that you think that Nintendo should make now that they're a big-time Hollywood studio picture company? Drop them in the comments below. Let us know. We'd love to hear it. We're going to be back next week, folks. We got a great show lined up for you with another great guest, so make sure you tune in. But until then, you know the drill. Stay safe out there. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to one another. We love you very much. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.